Hi Virgo, welcome to your week ahead taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these are for your sun, moon and ascendant signs. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Virgo, it's for you. Remember, they are general readings. Use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your key to the week this week, you have dun, 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 dun. All right, the Temperance card, right? So reaching for and finding balance this month. One of the other things with the Temperance card, remember this card will show up when your sense of alignment is either needed to be checked back in on, or you need to recalibrate effectively. Now remember as well, the Magician card is as above so below. The Temperance card is as within so without. And so for that reason, in all of these different areas of life, you need to check both your intention and your alignment, right, with where it is that you want to go, and more importantly where it is that you are right now. For your actions and options, you've got the Hanged Man. That is a lot of Jupiterian, and it's technically this is Sagittarius and Neptune, but there's a very Jupiterian feel to it for a few reasons, right? So the thing that I want to say to you with the Hanged Man as your actions this week, take your time. You have all the time that you need, and if you rush it and you force it and you push it, it's not going to work, right? Whatever it is that you're trying to do. And truthfully speaking, both of these cards are very spiritual in nature. And so this week, if you really want to make advancement in your outer external reality, you really do need to go within, right? The biggest and best results that you're going to get on the external level will come from the shifts and the changes that you make internally this week. And also, you know, it's the Hangman is Neptune, right? So there's a really and truthfully, whatever you communicate out to the world may not be received as you mean it this week. So I will watch out for this. And why is that? Because, well, it's very likely because your ruling planet Mercury is retrograde at this moment in time. Now, in terms of the options that are available to you, reassessment and reevaluation, you're getting a chance this week to actually check in and say, this is kind of like, you know, when a teacher says, what do you think about that? The reason they're asking you that question is because there's something wrong about what you're doing, right? This is the universe's way of saying, are you sure about that? To give you the heads up to say, okay, something's out of alignment here, and really I'm not sure what it is. So I need to reassess, reevaluate. Yes, there's likely to be a delay of some sort, but this is what we call a divine delay, right? So be okay with this. For your communications and conversations, you've got the Five of Swords. So in terms of communications, it's very possible that there could be some real crossed wires this week. So I will say just watch out for this, because the Five of Swords is an argument card. And you've got this with the Temperance card. Now, if you've been with me long enough, you will have heard me say this before about Temperance. Temperance can see us playing piggy in the middle. So this is an argument that really, quite frankly, has nothing to do with you, that you end up being pulled or dragged into. Watch out for this, right? Watch out for being sucked into drama, darling, that doesn't actually have anything to do with you. Now, when it comes to those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, this might be that you clash with a friend or a parent about the work that you're doing when it comes to your studies. Maybe this is about your course, maybe it's about whether you will or won't continue. That's very possible. It's also, as well, you might find this week that there's something that the institution is planning on bringing in or phasing out that you don't agree with. When it comes to those of you that are employed by somebody else, it's possible this week that you may find yourself aligned with the unpopular opinion and or group. And yet, I will say, this might be one of the very few times, Virgo, that actually you are wrong. Okay, now I say very few times. I can't sit here and say like I know lots of Virgo people or people that have lots of Virgo energy, because I don't. I know a few, but not masses of them. Funnily enough, it's usually like either Virgo moons or Virgo ascendants that I gravitate towards, that tend to find me. It's, you know, it's rare that like I know a couple of Virgo suns. One in particular is Heather from Astrology with Heather. But as a rule for myself, I've noticed that it's more like Virgo ascendants or Virgo moons that will find me. Now, the reason I mention this is because it's very rare for Virgos to get it wrong. You guys are really good at what you do. You're very studious. You're very detail orientated, and yet you find yourself aligned with the unpopular or the wrong opinion this week. And this isn't me saying, you know, your opinion or your politics or whatever. If you've been with me long enough, you know I don't give a shit about your politics. I really don't. That stuff is designed to tear people apart. It's designed to divide people, and I'm really not interested in any of it, right? I'm interested in things that are unifying, not dividing. Now, that being said, I don't, whether this is about your politics or not or whatever, I'm not saying you are wrong. What I'm saying is you are aligned with what is perceived at large in your organization or in your job sphere, etc., with the wrong opinion, right? With the, you know, you are a part of the unpopular or the minority. For those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, there is an argument this week or a dispute of some sort that actually needs to be had in order for you to find spiritual liberation and or freedom. So it's like when it comes to whatever you do for work or business, whether it's spiritual in nature or not, this is about really finding it in yourself to say, actually, this doesn't feel good to me and I have to let you know. There are times where we do have to stamp our feet. There are times where we do have to stand up for ourselves. There are times where we do have to maybe not shout and scream or even swear, even though everybody knows I've got the mouth of a fishwife. And that's when I'm happy. Imagine what happens when I'm not. But this week, yeah, it's like there's something you're going to have to really fight for. You have to show up for it. You have to show up for yourself. And then when it comes to those of you that are retired and no longer working, it's quite possible that this could be either a religious, a spiritual, or a health matter that sort of you don't agree with. So let's say you've got an elderly grandparent or parent, and you know, like everyone's saying, well, this is how we're going to proceed to look after them. And maybe you've done research on this field, or maybe it's something that you know really well, and you're like, why the hell would we go down this route? And you might find that you're on the opposite end of what everybody thinks is a good idea or what everybody thinks is right. For your love and relations, you've got the Devil card. Okay, so when it comes to the partnership and the relationship this week, just be mindful that it's very likely that, you know, you might just want to disappear into your partner, and maybe your partner indulges that. And yet this is one of those times where, because Virgo's really hardworking all the time, and so when you guys come up for rest, I'm always like, yes, take that rest, make sure you do it. But this is one of those few times where you're like, you know what, all I want to do is chill the fuck out and rest. And the universe is like, no. Right? And I will say, for those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, you might find that your partner is maybe hitting the bottle more than usual. You might find that you know, like there's something in this where it's like you're looking at your person or your people and starting to realize, like, actually you're doing this a bit too much. You're doing this a bit too often. It could be drinking, it could be smoking, it could be drugs, it could be, you know, I don't know, scrolling on their phone, like whatever it is. That Devil card is showing up to say that your partner is a part of the problem. And with that Five of Swords, this is potentially heading towards, you know, a big bust up, or certainly a heated debate of some sort that will create change. For those of you that are single and looking, a similar message came up for, I think it was Gemini, but it's like there's potentially you connecting with someone who is all the right kinds of wrong, maybe brings out some of your sort of, not some of your best traits, right? Like which sometimes we need to chuck it all off and say, fuck it, you know what, I'm just going to be an adult teenager again for a day. But this person seems to be locked into that, and so you have to ask yourself, how much of this do I want? For your money and materials, you've got the Ace of Wands. Love that. So there is a chance to make more money this week, but it's a short, sharp burst. This is like, you know, maybe your boss comes to you and says, look, there's a couple of hours of overtime. Maybe a friend hits you up and says, oh, you know, look, I need some help clearing the garden. You know, will you help me? It's like just like a short, sort of small burst of funds. And it comes potentially from something that I would consider like a creative endeavor. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, I love the Ace of Wands for physical health, because it's like you get your mojo back. So you've got a lot of energy this week, right? It's just, if it's not channeled and you don't do something with it, it potentially turns on you. And then when it comes to your home and environment, Ace of Wands with the Temperance card, this is bringing a more spiritual energy into the home through artwork, creativity, maybe even, you know, things like sculpture or art or paintings. Maybe you decide to decorate, all of that kind of stuff. It's like your home now needs to reflect more of who you are on the inside. Which conjures up in my mind, for those of you that are married, I don't know if you've seen Mr. and Mrs. Smith, where she says, oh, you know, I changed the curtains, and he's like, well, yeah, I know we talked about it, because we said that we wouldn't do it, right? And she's like, so if you haven't seen that film, check it out. It's really old now, but it's a good film. Anyway, with that said, if you want to book your personal session with me, do so on the link in the description box below. I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.